Hey guys, good morning. Currently, I am in the bathroom taking a dump, so I got a little bit of time to kind of work on this chart that some people have been asking about for Blink. More than likely, this is going to be, a video that's longer than a minute. So the full video, you guys can actually watch it on YouTube. And, if you guys are on TikTok, this will probably only be like a minute or so, obviously, because of the limit. But let's start. I'm actually going to show you guys how I do my TA, or at least like the price zones and ranges using the blink chart. I mean, just really looking at the blink chart pretty naked. Okay, I'll start off, right. So you guys can see here, I'm actually adding a price range line. I usually added the price range lines, or like support and resistance. I add them where you guys can see these on the wicks. So you guys can see this. You guys can see where they cross over. So I mean, usually like to add it like right in the middle, just to have it like a nice solid point. And if there's like two or three lines where they kind of cross over, that's where I usually set it. I always set my price, my support and resistance lines on the day chart. I don't go higher, I don't go lower. I always do it on the day chart. There's no real reason for that. It's just, I just think a week is too far out, or too big of a time frame to set price and resistance, and it doesn't give you enough actually like enough wicks. See, because you guys see this huge gap up for the week. There are no wicks there, right? So that means that you're not going to be creating any price zones, whereas on the day chart it's a little bit clearer, and if you go lower on the price on the dates, then it's a little bit clearer, right? But see, as you guys can see, there's no resistance here, right? Because it doesn't hit any more wicks. There's no wicks created. Same thing for the $14 range, same thing for here, maybe. And then and then the only way that I would actually add it is right here, which is on the $12 range. So even right now, if it were to retest, it'd probably go down to 1890 or even lower to 1253. But other than that, I don't, for the most part, these price and resistance zones are pretty accurate. I don't want to give myself too, like, I don't want to give myself too, like, too much of a big, like, what is it called? Like gloat too much or whatever. But yeah, like for the most part, I'm pretty, at least where I set my price zones, or resistance and support, they're like 99% accurate. Like you guys can see every single chart I've ever made, it always hits these support and resistance lines, regardless if it's, 2 weeks from now or a month later, these are gonna match up, right? They're gonna hit these zones. And I always, when I go back, I don't try to go back a whole bunch of time to actually set these. So even right now, I mean, you guys can follow this dot, right? It has a dot. So I'm going to use this wick right here. I'm going to use these three right here, this area, just where you guys can, visibly see where there's actually resistance. So I'm going to set them right here. That's the second one. And then I'm going to add one more just because, to show you guys a little extra. But you guys can, obviously there's a resistance right here. So you look at the little dot. You guys can see like a resistance right here. You guys can see this area is kind of like a resistance, right? So you need to, or support really. So you need to kind of like wiggle it out, or kind of figure out where the best area is, where it hits the most wicks. I'll probably leave it here. But as far as blink goes, these are really your only, your biggest area of support and resistance, right? As of right now, there is no reason to short this. I mean, if you just can look at the MACD, the accelerator oscillator, the RSI close, I mean, every single one is showing signs of, extreme bullish movement, and it just keeps going and going. So I would not short this at all. I do think it has potential to just keep going. I mean, these candles are just huge, even on the week, it's just a huge candle. I don't think that Blink is gonna, drop. I do think that has a huge potential of going all the way back up. But, and this is a big but, right? I think it's, it's almost like it wants to break the bearish. Like I really think that Blink is all hype. I don't like Blink at all for charging stations. Whereas as a company, they're constantly losing money, and I do think that SBE or Chargepoint is the better option. If I had to invest like 20K or 10K, like money, any kind of money, long term, I would definitely invest in SBE over Blink. I do think Blink is all hype just because all EVs are being hyped right now. So that's why you guys can see those huge rallies on on Neo, on Xpeng, Blink, SBE, anything related to anything EV is getting, hyped up like crazy. And while I do play hype and I do, obviously I make money off of that and everybody else does whatever, right? But as far as actual an investment in long term, I do think Blink is not going to last. I do think Blink is going to drop. I do think this is a pump and dump. It's a hype stock. There's no fundamental supporting it. If something is going to get hyped, for example, it's something like Neo, for example, they actually have fundamental supporting it. China's supporting it. They have enough money coming in. They're actually selling cars. Blink, on the other hand, is losing money constantly, and that's why I don't like them at all. So I do think Blink, like I said, I do think Blink is going to keep running. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I do think Blink is going to keep running up. I think it's going to keep running up for a while. But I would not invest in this just because the fundamentals are bad. They're not a good company. They're losing money. So as far as actual like TA, this chart looks amazing. I would probably buy in $1,000 and I'd probably make some money, right? Do I recommend investing in this? Of course not. I don't recommend investing in Blink at all, just because I don't support the fundamentals. They're losing money, and they're not that good of a company. If you guys are gonna buy, anything that supports charging and kind of hop on this like EV gold rush, I would strongly recommend SBE or Chargepoint over Blink any day. I'll see you guys later.